Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another sacred channeling. Okay, so here's what's been going on. Here's what's been happening. This reading is going to be especially for those who have been experiencing some challenges the past 2 weeks. Energy has been extremely heavy, and you might be feeling it collectively or for yourself or for both, because remember, you're part of the collective. So it might have felt like life kind of did a complete 180. You might have felt like you've just been slammed with this energy, with heaviness, with old wounding, with old triggers, and wondering, where is this coming from? I myself personally experienced new trauma triggering old trauma, and what I've found is that was bringing up everything that was still kind of below the surface, everything that I was not able to access consciously, even though I've been doing this work for 4 years. Everything that was still kind of below the surface, everything that was still kind of old beliefs, everything that was patterning, conditioning, old fears that were still kind of there, being brought to the surface. A lot of inner child healing happening. It's really interesting what's been happening, and I've been talking to some friends who've been experiencing this as well. Inner child, teenage years, young adult life, there seems to be some kind of reintegration that's happening. And I use that word as a friend of mine who did a reading for me, my dear friend Lisa, thank you Lisa, who did a reading for me, gave me that word, reintegration. That feels like exactly what's happening. She did a reading for me before everything kind of happened. But that's exactly, I understand exactly why that word came up, because it feels like we are releasing all of the old fragments of ourselves that just don't serve us anymore, including the old traumas, including the old pain that might have still been there, just not in our awareness. Even though we might have been doing the healing work, the meditations, the journaling, the Ho'oponopono, even though we might have been doing all of the active healing, sometimes it really does take the universe and divine timing to bring up old traumas, to bring up old fears, to bring it all up to the surface. This really does feel like calling back old fragments of ourselves, of pieces of ourselves, including, especially in this lifetime, could be experiencing some past lifetime stuff as well, but especially in this lifetime, it really feels like it's focused on early childhood and young adulthood, at least so far. I don't quite know how to explain it. All I know is that my own inner child has been speaking so loudly to me, and I'm in a place where I just want to give her everything that she wants so that she feels safe and secure. There have been old fears of not belonging. There have been old fears of not feeling safe and secure. There have been old fears of just a lack. That's what it is. It's a lack. It's fear. It's not feeling at home, not feeling safe. Really some root chakra, some sacral chakra activation stuff going on. It really feels like that's where, especially as divine feminines, we're working on the inner child from the root chakra, from the sacral chakra. So if my energy feels a little bit off, if it feels a little bit drained, I have been going through it the past 2 weeks. It has not been easy. It has been very intense for me. So I do apologize for not having collective readings up. I will try to do a sacred union channeling up on my other channel. But make sure that you are staying tuned, because I will try to be back. For those of you who had booked readings with me, I do want to make sure that my energy is as clear as possible for you. So there has been a little bit of a wait. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm hoping to finish those up for you this week. So I pulled a couple of cards, and we have Rejuvenating Rain, Clear the Past, Heal the Present, and Cleansing Waters, Purification Activates Vibrant Life Force. These two cards are the ones that popped out when I was just kind of feeling into what we're going to be talking about today. And it feels like we just want to talk about this energy. Why are we experiencing this energy? What does this energy mean? And how do we clear it? How do we move forward? Like I said, I've just been really listening to my inner child, giving her everything that she wants: solitude, security, stability, structure, trying to really focus on routine. I have been holding my doll. I brought out all of my stuffed animals from childhood and lined them up on my bed like a nutcase because that's what she wanted. That's what she needed. I gave her cake when she asked for a cake. Just anything that brings in that comfort, which then brings in that security. I am nurturing my inner child. Water is very cleansing, so we've been doing that as well. But anything that I need to bring back that sense of safety, bring back that sense of security, that's what needs to be done. The focus for me right now is fully on myself, and I know some of my friends who are divine feminines on this journey who have experienced something similar or are experiencing something similar. Maybe different scenarios, maybe different situations, but the energy feels intense, it feels heavy, it feels like you're kind of regressing or going back. Really giving yourself everything that you need in the moment, really pulling the focus to yourself to give yourself everything that you need in the moment. That is so incredibly important right now, to focus on yourself and give yourself what you need, not sacrificing those pieces of yourself that you might have sacrificed in the past for others, but allowing yourself to give yourself whatever it is that you need. Here's what's really interesting. As I'm experiencing all this inner child grief, trauma, pain that's arising, I'm still feeling very, very centered. I'm still feeling very at peace in my heart, even in my mind, and I'm still feeling very connected to God, God source, whatever it is that you want to call that pure divine energy that you connect to. I'm still feeling very connected. I'm still feeling very at home in that energy. So it's a very strange energy of, as I said to my friend yesterday, it feels like a dualistic energy. It feels like I am that little girl or that teenager, while at the same time I am this adult woman who's at peace. So it feels like, I'm just getting the word reparenting, so it very much feels like we are in the process of really diving deep and reparenting our inner child. We are rejuvenating the inner child that had been a little bit lost, that had been a little bit traumatized, that had been abandoned, rejected, neglected. However that plays out for your childhood. I had a really fantastic childhood, but even though I had a great childhood, there was a lot of pain that was still experienced. There was trauma that was experienced. There were programs and conditioning and beliefs that were experienced. So I want to challenge you to really allow yourself to dive deep and go beyond the surface layer of what you look back on. I'm a very nostalgic person, so I've done this myself. So allow yourself to really dive deep and allow yourself to look back and say, okay, where was this a challenge? Where was this really painful for me? Where was this very difficult for me that I may not have allowed myself to acknowledge before? And I'm also hearing the flip side of this. If you are looking at your childhood as it was difficult, it was traumatic, it was turmoil, look back at the joy. Look back at the moments, the memories that you had that made you feel good, that made you feel grateful, that made you feel joyful, that made you feel carefree. So wherever you are in this journey, whatever you are experiencing right now, allow yourself to really dive deep and flip the script, to really access the healing that needs to be accessed, or to access the joy that needs to be accessed. So really allow yourself to give to your inner child whatever it is that he or she needs. So if you need to really face those fears, if you really need to face those circumstances, because there's some stuff that might be coming up to the surface to be released, and it really is releasing. I feel a lot clearer than I had at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of last week. That is cleansing right now. And if you are, stuck in this pattern of negativity, of fear, of trauma, of turmoil, then allow yourself to look back at happy moments and focus on those happy moments. Focus on those places of joy and gratitude that you felt, the carefree moments of your childhood, the laughter of your childhood. Focus on that and bring that up to the surface. to hold on to that vibration, that energy. It doesn't negate the past. It doesn't allow you to suppress the past. You still have to face whatever needs to be faced. But if you're stuck in a pattern, allow yourself to really break free from that pattern by focusing on the joy and carrying that with you. This really is a time of clearing the past. That is just the main message that we're getting here today. This is what we are doing right now. It's almost like, remember the past couple of channeled messages that I've done. You can follow it on my community posts on Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections, my main page, my main YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. We've been channeling that this is go time. There is no turning back. This right here, right now is a turning point. And you have made the conscious decision to continue to evolve, to continue to expand, to continue to grow. And so there is no going back. And so the universe really is pushing us. These energies really are pushing us to continue to expand into our highest self. There has been so much that I've realized about myself that has been a process of discovery this past year. Old endings are taking place. We talked about that in the Journey's End channeling that we channeled way back. I feel like it was the beginning of spring. This feels like this is that ending and beginning all at once that we were channeling. This has been a process of endings that have been occurring as we have been shifting inside of ourselves, and now it is here. And there is no going back. There is no looking back. But we have to clear the past and sometimes look back on that past in order to do that, in order to clear the energy to make way for the new. Purification activates a vibrant life force. It is activating the new and sacred you inside of yourself. It is purifying you, and it might not feel comfortable. In fact, this has been the most discomforting experience that I've experienced on this journey, and you guys have been with me from the beginning. You know that has been a very difficult journey for me personally, and for you guys as well. I know you've experienced this as well. But I've always said that from that discomfort comes transformation. And this journey really has been the most beautiful experience of my life because of the love it has brought in, because of the soul connections and soul family it has brought in, because of the inner peace that I feel. Experiences that I have had over these past 4 years would have crumbled me in the past because I didn't have the tools, because I didn't have that connection to God, because I had really become very angry at God, because I had really severed my own connection to God, feeling that separation, especially when I got very, very sick. But my illness was really the catalyst for my awakening that led me into growth and self-love, that led me into the ascension journey. And that sacred union path to ascension. And so as that catalyst, it really showed me so much about myself, and that accelerated with this ascension journey. I have truly allowed myself to embrace all aspects of myself and transform. And so through that, I can see a new and higher version of myself. I can see how different I am. I can see how transformed I am. And I don't want to go back. I don't want to be that person that I was. And so what I'm actually facing these past 2 weeks, I've been expressing to God, why am I here? Why does it feel like I have regressed? Why am I experiencing this when I feel like I have transcended this, when I feel like I have transmuted all of this? And I'm even hearing God now, it's because it is the clearing. It is because the path is opening up, and we might not be able to see that just yet. We might not be able to see the path that is opening up, but this is where your ultimate surrender comes from. I'm finding that I'm in a place where I am just only allowed to be present, to give myself whatever it is that I need in the moment, to feel everything that I need to feel in the moment, even if it's unpleasant, and to allow myself those feelings of joy if I'm feeling those energies of joy as well. I was feeling at a great day yesterday where I was feeling joy, and then that triggered into some anxiety, which I had experienced as a teenager, and I'm like, why am I experiencing this now? So allowing yourself to feel the confusion, allowing yourself to feel the complexity of emotion, where it might feel a little bit bipolar, where it might feel a little bit like you're at one end of the spectrum one moment and feeling new things at the end. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is at the moment. It might look crazy to other people outside of this journey. It might not look like ability to understand this, but it's because you are clearing at such a rapid level that emotions are coming up rapidly too. And so allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of emotion, even if you're doing a 180 within the course of an hour, even within the course of a few minutes. Allow yourself to feel the full spectrum. Allow yourself to give yourself the compassion, the kindness, the gentleness, the connection that you need to yourself, to God's source. Allow yourself to call in your soul family for support as you need it, because they are there for you as you need it. And allow yourself the patience to go through this process. The path is opening up. We might not be able to see it as we're going through this sometimes complicated and complex process, but it is opening up. And what I'm hearing is you will not recognize yourself in 6 months' time. Like I said, I have been experiencing this where I am just really anchoring into the new and higher version of myself. And I didn't think that was possible. I thought that I had kind of plateaued here. But that's what this is. It just forced me to go even deeper, to recognize even more of myself, where I needed more healthy boundaries for myself and for others, where I needed to assert myself more with compassion, with kindness, but that sort of energy to really anchor into who I am, to really know myself on a deeper level, to really clear the energy that no longer serves me on a deeper level. I realized that I don't need anything outside of myself. This past week, there is nothing that I need that isn't already inside of myself, including my connection with God. My connection with God truly is all that is needed. And I really, really came to that recognition and that realization this week. And it was incredibly profound, and it was incredibly moving. And it just anchored me into this feeling of, okay, so without needing anything, how can I find myself feeling secure and feeling stable in this world that screams that you need everything? So there is a lot of collective energy that is clearing right now. There's a lot of individual healing that is occurring right now. But this is all about cleansing, clearing, purification, and rejuvenation. And we might not be able to see it, but we are getting there. So with that, sharing my own experience, I do invite you guys to share your own. Let me know how you guys are doing on your journey. And I want to get... I want to do some channeling here. I want to do a reading here and pull some cards. I want to get a little bit of a clearer understanding of what's going on here. We do have a new moon in Libra. New moon in Libra. Yes, I think it's the new moon in Libra tomorrow, which is a 6. If you're coming to this reading later than that, then take it as it resonates for you, because energy is timeless. So take it as it resonates for you. These messages are meant to be timeless. October is a very heavy month, but it's a transformative month. That's what it's all about. It's about the transformation. And I'm getting the energy of relationship, and I'm getting the energy of partnership. That could be with another, but most importantly, the relationship that you have with yourself. And if you're experiencing what I've been experiencing, it's really about that reparenting of the self. It's really about understanding yourself, to understand your relationship with yourself, and to, it's a beautiful phrase, blossom into self-love. That's what they're giving me, to blossom into more self-love. So if you have been in a healing journey, I mean, we're all in a healing journey of self-love, but if you have really been working on that self-love aspect, I feel like this energy is inviting you to go deeper into loving yourself. That is kindness, that is compassion, that is being gentle, that is being patient with yourself, that is being very, very gentle with the energies that you are experiencing, not punishing yourself, not blaming yourself, not punishing others or blaming others, being very, very compassionate all around. Really working on those relationships, because you're working on the relationship with yourself, really, really loving yourself. And as you're doing that, I'm also hearing, don't forget your connection to God. Your connection to God is a personal relationship with yourself. First and foremost, it's a personal relationship with yourself. And as that relationship with yourself blossoms, it becomes a relationship with life. It becomes a relationship with the world. So really be kind and compassionate with yourself. All right, I want to get some new moon energy first, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper. This is not my new moon card. My new moon deck. Hold on. Okay, let's get some moon energies here. Spirit, tell me about this moon to moon and the energies of October. Tell me about the energies of October. Thank you. Oh, that's too many. Nope, that's not. Patience, power, self-love. Okay, I'm going to talk about this before I talk about the card that came out first. Patience, power, self-love. This is confirmation of everything that we were just channeling. Be very patient with yourself because you are coming into a new sense of self-empowerment, and that is what self-love is all about. Self-love is about power, but it's not about control. It's not about manipulation. It's not about control over others or about control over your circumstances. When you learn the art of surrender, and it really is an art because it's a practice, and that takes, it's a process, and that process takes practice. When you learn to truly surrender, you learn that there is nothing that you need but what you have in this moment. You can have plans, you can have goals, you can have ideas, you can have wishes, but you are anchored into the present moment. You can have all these beautiful things. You could have a beautiful home. You can have beautiful aesthetics. You can have beautiful relationships. But the most important thing that you have is yourself and your connection to God's source. Without that, you have separation. The union is all about your connection with yourself and with God. And that then extends to another, that then extends to the world. Even with sacred unions, it is about your own inner union, your own connection first. And you feel that with another. That's what sacred union is all about. Sacred partnerships, I should say, divine counterparts are all about. You feel that with another, and they help you connect to yourself. Your counterpart is actually helping you connect more firmly to yourself, to help you build your relationship to yourself and to God. That is the most important thing that you can ever learn on this journey. It is not about the other. It is not about what the other is doing. It's not about you and the other and your relationship. It is about you and your relationship to yourself and to God. And your partner, your sacred partner, shows that to you. Throughout that journey with connection to others, we learn about the art of surrender. And surrender is about letting go of the illusion of control and recognizing the power that you hold within. When you are in a place of surrender, it is not submission. Surrender is not submission. Surrender is and it's not defeat, although sometimes we have to experience submission and defeat in order to get there. That's where we are on our knees praying to God. It is that feeling of, I'm defeated, I don't know what to do, help me. That is leading you to the place of surrender. Surrender is the ultimate energy of peace. Because when you're in the place of surrender, you are in the place of, I recognize you, God. I recognize myself. I recognize this oneness. I recognize that through you, God, I don't need anything or anyone but this connection, because I recognize that you are providing for me. I recognize that you are supporting me. I recognize that I am not separate from you. And as such, as a child of you, Mother, Father, God, I have everything that I need. I have the patience for this journey. I don't need anything right now because I have everything that I need in this current moment, and I am aligning to you bringing to me everything that my heart desires. I have power, the power over myself, the power over my fears, the power of love within me because I am connected to you. This is true self-empowerment. This is true divine inner union. And I have that recognition of myself. I love myself so fiercely, so dearly that I will not allow myself to stray from my connection to you, God, or to myself. And through that, I have a sense of eternal peace. It's interesting, even though I've been experiencing what I've been experiencing, that's what I've been trying to explain. It's this strange, really complicated, dualistic energy, where even though I'm feeling so much trauma and so much grief and so much pain come up to the surface, in my heart space and even in my mind, there is a sense of peace. Even though my ego mind might be screaming as it surrenders itself, what I'm experiencing underneath is this quiet voice that's saying, everything is okay. You are protected, you are supported, you are guided, and you are loved. And I feel that sense of composure. I feel that sense of poise. I feel that sense of peace running through me at every given moment, even in moments where I am just sobbing, even in moments where I am just in complete sense of anger or upset or upheaval or fear. There is an underlying current of peace, and that is where I'm recognizing my power. That is where I'm recognizing God. That is where I'm recognizing my own love and transformation into that love. This really is a journey. This really is a process. You really will feel that peace. And when this card came out in the very beginning, before I pulled these other cards, was this is the path that is opening up, this path of peace. And what you're just doing is you are clearing and purifying your own vessel. The body itself that was holding on to old toxic energy, the auric fields, the energy fields, your chakra centers, which were still holding on to old energy in past lifetimes, in childhood, old pain, all of that is being cleared right now. You're being recalibrated. You're reintegrating aspects of yourself that had been lost, that had been filled with pain, that had been filled with trauma. You are clearing those trauma centers and reintegrating in the purest energy your inner child, your young adulthood, your adulthood now. You're calling back all of those forgotten fragments, the lost fragments, the pain-filled fragments. You are calling yourself back home. You're calling yourself back home in the purest form, in the purest energy of light and peace. This is happening for everybody who is consciously on this journey of healing. So you might need to be doing some healing, some active healing. You might need to be doing some more deep dives and shadow work. You might need to be giving yourself some more love, calling in your soul family to help you process this. Whatever it is that you need, even sound healing, meditations, do what you are called to. Allow yourself that gift of healing that is going to make this journey so much easier. The awareness of what you're experiencing is going to make this journey, this process, I should say, so much easier. Allow yourself to give yourself everything that you need. I'm going to get a little bit deeper. Let's see what else is going on here. I've been receiving more and more clarity as the days go by. It's almost like I'm opening up more inside of myself. It was very heavy energy the past few weeks, the past few days especially, but it does feel like it's getting a little bit lighter, and I'm receiving more clarity, more insight into the why. And so I say that because I am understanding more within this reading, just as you are. This is new information for me. I did not do meditations on this before I came on to record. I am receiving this understanding, this insight in real time, and I'm passing that along to you as I am channeling. So I want you guys to know that I am right there with you, that I am moving through this right there with you, and that you are supported, you are loved, and I am sending my love to you as well. All right, Spirit, what do you have to say for this energy, please? What do you have to say? Oh, gosh. I'm seeing empowerment. I'm seeing coherence. I'm seeing passion, and that's too many cards, so I'm going to put them back. But this is everything that we were just channeling. This is all about that higher consciousness reintegration, and that's what's really happening. You're reintegrating old aspects of yourself, and in a purer light. So if your inner child had been just in a place, your energy fields had just been in a place of just difficulty, trauma, grief, pain, whatever it was, heartache, You are purifying that so that you can reintegrate into higher light, into higher consciousness. And I'm just hearing, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass. Okay, let's one card, one or two cards, please. Not a whole bunch. All right, Spirit, what do you have to say? One or two cards, please. Talk about this energy a little bit more. Thank you. The root chakra. Didn't I say in the very beginning that it's root chakra healing? This is the foundation. This is the base chakra. This is the safety, security. You're feeling rooted to this planet. And some of you might be feeling a little bit ungrounded. So really do some grounding meditations. Really allow yourself to step out in nature. Allow yourself to really connect to Mother Gaia, even energetically. Connect to Mother Earth. Imagine yourself, roots coming down from your legs into your feet, down into the earth, really rooting there, really grounding there. And I'm also hearing, feel the love of the Mother God, Mother Gaia, really bringing that energy back up through those roots and into your heart space. Really ground this energy, really ground your energy. Yeah, it supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well in the physical world. So really that sense of belonging, that sense of safety, that sense of security, anywhere where we in the past, even past lifetimes, so it really feels like this life cycle, anywhere where we did not feel safe or secure to be ourselves, to speak our truth, to express ourselves, to show ourselves, to shine our light. That is what we are clearing now. We are clearing the sense of belonging. We are clearing the sense of safety and security so that we can truly shine our light. And this is having a ripple effect because as light workers, as way showers, the work that you are doing here is going to have a ripple effect on those who are going through the process of ascension, the next waves. So the work that you're doing here is not for nothing. And even if you might be screaming to the cosmos, why am I experiencing this? Why is this happening? I thought I was in a really grounded, peaceful place. You might have been, and you still are. Don't negate the work that you have done. Don't negate how you have felt. This is just more clearing so that you can keep stepping into higher consciousness and higher sense of self and higher sense of self-empowerment. This is really rooting this in. What else, please, Spirit? What else? Throat chakra. Yeah, what was I just saying about self-expression? Allowing yourself to express the truth of who you are. Not everybody is going to understand the new version of yourself because they might still be clinging to the past. But that's where you cut those cords. That's where you use that forgiveness exercise. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Whatever it is, whatever needs to be done to clear that energy, allow yourself to move into the new version of yourself. That's what's happening here. That's what this rejuvenation and this clearing, this purification is all about. You are clearing out the oldest, they're saying, they're correcting me, the oldest versions of yourself. And again, that's why we're being called to go back to inner childhood, teenage years, young adulthood, whatever it is, wherever you are in your journey. That's where you're being called to go back and clear out those old energies, because if you're still carrying that with you, then you're not allowing the new you to shine. You're not allowing the new you to really step forward. You're not allowing yourself to really express yourself in your divine nature, in that highest embodiment of higher consciousness. You're not allowing this. There isn't a reintegration that is happening, but you have to allow your energies to be purified, to be cleared, and cleared is just another word for purified. Purified is just another word for cleared and healed, so that you can really remember the sacred self, the sacred part of you. You are sacred. You are divine. Allow yourself to shine. You have to clear out these oldest parts of yourself, and sometimes that is not the easiest process. So allow yourself that compassion. Allow yourself to be in the sacred center of yourself, which is the sanctuary of yourself. Allow yourself to go where you need to go to feel that safety, to feel that security, to process whatever it is that you're experiencing now so that you can feel safe, feel secure to express your highest form of yourself, because you're stepping into a new life. You're stepping into a new you. Like I said, 6 months from now, you're not going to recognize your life. You're not going to recognize yourself. Now, your physical changes, your life it might be small changes, it might be huge changes, but the most important thing is yourself. You're not going to recognize yourself. It's going to be a new you. It's going to look a little bit differently for everybody and how that expresses itself in the physical world, but those seeds are being planted right now with this clearing. Right now you are in a transition period, and it might feel a little bit discomforting. That's just the word that I keep getting. It's very, very uncomfortable. It's especially uncomfortable to the ego that is being integrated, that is being healed, that is being cleared. Because it's the old ego. It's the oldest self. That's what the ego is. It's the oldest versions of yourself that are being healed right now. Like I said, the journey's end. You are healing and clearing, ending a major, major cycle of yourself. It almost feels like, how do I explain this? It almost feels like from this point on, it's like the old version of yourself doesn't exist. And I want to explain this too. When I've been doing this inner child healing, it wasn't just trauma and grief and pain. It was also very loving memories, nostalgia that was coming up to the surface. It was no coincidence. I'm re-releasing my first book, which is a very nostalgic book for me. It's a very healing book for me. Golden the Days of Summer was a book of my childhood. It was really very much, it's a novel, but it's a book of my life as a child, just a little bit fictionalized. And I poured my heart into that book, and all my books really, but it's no coincidence I'm re-releasing that book with some more content, but I'm being called to go back and revisit it, revise it, polish it up a little bit more. So as I'm doing that, I'm finding myself crying because some of my memories are coming up, especially when I'm connecting to my mom and my dad and friends and moments of my childhood that were very beautiful. Yes, I experienced difficulties and challenges and even trauma in my childhood, but there were a lot of beautiful moments of nostalgia as well. And so I found myself crying at those instances as well. And what I'm recognizing is that's duality in and of itself. There is no bad, there is no good, there just is. And so what's happening is the inner child is healing in her wholeness. His or her wholeness, but for me, in her wholeness, she's healing in her wholeness. So yes, I've been bringing up trauma and pain and heartbreak, but I've also been bringing up joy and beauty and happy memories. She's healing in her wholeness. That's this transition that's happening. There is an ending that is happening. That ending is the old version of yourself, including the old version of your life. That's what we have been clearing to make way for the new. And it's almost like this transition, what I'm getting is you can't have one foot in the old paradigm, in old earth, if you're trying to create the new. Now, there's a transition period. We are in this transition. We're still very much anchored into the here and the now, into the present moment, where we are still seeing the physical structures and physical experiences of the old, but that is crumbling down, and we're seeing that in our physical experiences. And in the outside world, the collective, day by day by day. But within our own individual experience, it's because we're in this process of ending. We are ending the old version of ourselves. We're ending that old life. We're ending the old everything. Everything. It really is the old everything. And that's not to scare us. That is to allow us to evolve, to give us the courage and the strength to move into this new expansion, to move into, again, the widening, blossoming path, the evolving path, the widening path. That's what I keep getting. So we are in this transition period, and it might feel a little bit discomforting, but it's because I'm just going to read this. This is exactly what it is. They just pointed me to this. The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. This is the surrender. This is the transition that we are in. We are surrendering the old to embrace the new. And part of embracing the new is the wholeness of our fragmented selves. Let me put it this way, because I feel like I'm not articulating myself very well. When I look at what I've been experiencing the past few weeks, or past few days, it has been my little girl clamoring for attention. Little Susie just wanting whatever it is that she needs in any given moment. For safety, security, for joy, for happiness, for the innocence of who she was. And me, as the adult Susan, is reparenting her, is giving her, nurturing her what she needs with discipline, with structure, with boundaries that I didn't have before, that I wasn't capable of giving her before. Because I didn't know any better. I was that little girl. And maybe even my family or my authority figures didn't know any better. But I know myself now. I know better now. Because I'm in that place where I'm able to reparent that child. That's where we all are. We are all calling back the lost, forgotten child within ourselves, reparenting them, nurturing them, to bring them back into the wholeness, the innocence of who they are, to then integrate that back into who we are now. What I'm seeing is the inner child as a ball of energy, as a ball of light, being brought into wholeness, cleared of trauma and pain and heartbreak, whatever it is that was not that sacred child, that was not that sacred self. We are clearing that. And what I'm seeing is that ball of light being placed within the heart space, integrated back into this self, this higher conscious now, this higher conscious self, this self that has gained wisdom and connection to herself. It's that fragmented self that is being placed back within the heart space in its wholeness. And if you listen back to some past Ascension channelings, sacred channelings that we've done here on the channel, this has been a process. That wholeness energy, we have been channeling that wholeness energy. They're calling me back to that now. That's what this is all about. So we are in that process of reintegration right now. We are in that process of expansion right now. We are in that process of transition right now. Let's see if there's anything else they want to say. We have Michael at the bottom of the deck, and I've been calling on Michael to help protect me, support me, also help to transmute this energy. So Michael could be, oh, that's so many. Michael could be really helping you. This is way too many. I'm not getting the energy from this. So let me pull a couple more cards. Reshuffle these. Spirit, what else do you want to say? What do you need to say? Is there anything else that you need to say? Trust, Ariel, coming through. Trust. Trust in the process, and especially trust in yourself. That's part of that sacred self-love. You have the tools now. Don't negate yourself, even if this process might be a little bit difficult and discomforting or uncomfortable. Mercury retrograde, you guys. You might be called to your inner sanctuary. You might be called to just retreat a little bit as you go through this process. Give yourself what you need, but allow yourself to trust this process and allow yourself to trust yourself. You have the tools now. That is what this journey has given you. Remember when I said that there's that undercurrent of peace, that you know you'll be okay, even though your mind might be reeling and screaming and crying, and your outside vessel might be really feeling the emotions and going through it right now. There's an undercurrent of peace. There's a knowing, an innate knowing that you will clear this, that you will get through this, that this will not last forever. This does not feel like a dark night of the soul. This just feels like, it's interesting. It's like a shadowed morning. That's what I'm getting, a shadowed morning. You know, when you wake up sometimes and it's overcast and it feels like there are just some shadows over the day. That's what it feels like. But the sun will come out. The sun will come out. Allow yourself to trust in yourself. Allow yourself to trust in your connection to God. Allow yourself to call in your angels, your masters, in the highest light, in the seventh plane of existence and above, in the highest dimension. Call in your spirit family. Call in your soul family in the physical for support. Allow yourself to do whatever it is that you're called to do. Be very present with yourself. Don't make decisions, especially during Mercury retrograde. Don't make decisions. Don't make rash, don't have rash ideas. Allow yourself to be, or especially emotions, allow yourself to be very present and process what you need to process. Allow yourself to trust. Okay. I'm going to get some guidance here. I'm going to use my Ascension Expressions deck. So this is my double deck. It's Ascension Connections, and it's called Ascension Connections, but it's a double deck that has Ascension Connections, which is the raw and real of the journey. If you're going through a difficult time, you know, you might get some insight into why. But why is this all upside down? It has the counterpart to that, which is Ascension Expressions, which is the hope and healing for the journey as well. All of my decks are available in my Etsy shop. Here we go. Okay. So, you know what? How about we get both? So, what do we need to know about this journey and maybe some difficulties on this journey? What are we experiencing on this journey? I did do one over on Facebook and Instagram for the Divine Masculine. What is challenging the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine? What is healing the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine? So, check that out. But let's see, for my collective here today, what are the challenges right now? What are the challenges right now that we might be facing as a collective? What are the challenges right now that we might be facing as a collective? I don't know how to find my faith, and I don't know how to heal this. And what I'm actually getting is you heal this through your faith. So if you're feeling separate, if you're feeling a disconnect, and I feel like many of you are still feeling connected to Source, you're still feeling connected to yourself, but you might be feeling like, why is this happening? Why am I experiencing this? Why? It's almost like you're wondering, if I have been going through this journey thus far, how can I continue, and I'm experiencing this now, how can I continue to have faith? How do I heal this and keep going forward? How do I heal this and keep moving forward on this journey? The answer is your faith. The answer is to connect, keep connecting back to yourself and keep connecting back to God's source energy. That is how you heal this. It is a process that you are going through. It is a transition that you are going through. Allow yourself, grant yourself the grace to move through it. Grant yourself the compassion to move through it. Be very, very kind to yourself. Listen to your inner guidance. Give yourself whatever it is that you need. For myself, it was meditations. It was some energy healing. Sometimes it was cake. Sometimes it was just allowing myself to sleep and hug my doll. Sometimes it was walking with my dog out in nature. Presence. Be very present with what you need and allow yourself the compassion to give yourself what you need for this healing process. It will not last forever. These intense energies will not last forever. It actually is going to be transmuting, transforming throughout October. And I do feel like this new moon is going to be a push into the new. Almost like a push onto that widening path is what I'm seeing. Okay. What's healing right now, please, Spirit? What is healing right now? I believe in my ability to create a new path. There is that confirmation. You are creating a new path. You are stepping onto the new path through this healing. This discomfort that you're experiencing right now, even this pain that you're experiencing right now, is serving a purpose for your new path. It is guiding you down to the new path. So don't discredit what you're experiencing. Don't suppress it. Don't bypass it. Allow yourself to face it, because through that facing it, through that feeling it, you allow yourself to continue to move forward into creating this new path for yourself, that widening path, that expansive path. And like I said, 6 months, you're not going to recognize yourself. You're not going to recognize where you are, but in a beautiful, divine, sacred way. It's a positive energy that is coming in here. I'm ready to fall in love with life again, and I acknowledge that I'm human and I have human emotions. So allow yourself to feel, and allow yourself to feel the pain and the joy. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel in any given moment, because that is part of what it is to be human, that you experience both pain and joy, but the pain is going to be clearing. So allow yourself to just feel the joy. Allow yourself to fall in love with life again. It's interesting. Yesterday, I was experiencing just a interesting place of joy after a couple of days of just immense pain and turmoil. And I allowed myself to be present with the joy and not to sink into, why am I feeling this joy? I don't want to feel this joy. I shouldn't be feeling this joy because I was just feeling this pain. I was just feeling this trauma. I was just experiencing this. I just allowed myself to feel whatever I needed to feel in the moment. And later, I experienced some more anxiety and some more fear, but I allowed myself to feel that too. But I allowed myself to really embrace whatever it was I was feeling in the moment, and allowed myself to really fall in love with life again and dream again, and even dream bigger. But in a place of surrender, in a place of, okay, God, I know you know what I'm dreaming of. I know you know what my fulfillment is. I know you know what I want for my life, but I'm going to surrender whatever that looks like. I'll maintain the visions in my head, but I will, and in my heart, but I will just surrender what that looks like, or when that has to happen. It was just a place of peace and complete surrender, of being very present. I don't quite know how to explain it, so disregard that. If it doesn't make sense to you, just let it go. I don't quite know how to explain. It's very, emotions and energy is very convoluted right now. I don't know how else to explain it. It's very wild right now. Okay, I'm going to get a final message from the universe. Spirit, what do you need my collective to hear, please? What do you need this collective to hear? What final message do you have for the collective? Love and happiness is who you already are and who you have always been. So this is that energy of the wholeness. This is what we are clearing. This is what we are purifying. All of the pain, all of the trauma, all of the turmoil that we still had residing within our energy fields. We are clearing that to remember that we are that love, that we are happiness, that we have always been that. That is that energy, that ball of energy of the inner child that we are healing, coming back to that sacredness, coming back to the innocence, reintegrating inside of ourselves, coming back to that wholeness within ourselves, the recognition of our sacred self. All right, guys, this was a tough one. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I will try to do a Sacred Union energy update over on my other channel, and I will have some more updates on my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube community posts. So make sure that you're checking out all of the social media platforms. I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, so much peace, and so much healing, and we'll be back soon. Bye.